To start. Okay. Yeah. Welcome all of you to our 8th GDTA PowWow. Welcome to the Global Design Thinking Alliance and to our nice 60-minute getting together, which we're trying to celebrate every month, and inviting also not only members of the Global Design Thinking Alliance, but external guests all over the world. And it's a pleasure for me to kick off today our GDTA PowWow with the D-School at Sibiu at Lucian Blaga University in Sibiu. So, but before we get to go, let's play our little jingle here. Yeah, hello, welcome again, and special welcome to our guests from Sibiu and to our presenter, Raluca Michaela Bârsan. And she's a good friend already, and she is already involved. She still had her label as a coach for our current Global Design Thinking workshop, which we are running right now at the School of Design Thinking in Potsdam. And but her official mission is to run the activities at the D-School in Romania, which we have the pleasure to accompany since the past 2 years, two years already. I think it's longer already. And I'm also happy to welcome my professor colleagues, Claudio Kifur, who was used to be the vice president at the time when the D-School started, and Adrian Florea, who is also involved in setting up the innovation activities at Sibiu at the university, and Andre Terian, who is the current vice director for research and innovation and internationalization, and also responsible then, and Michaela, not last but not least, Michaela Herchu. I try to pronounce it right. I learned a little bit, and you are in charge of the innovation activities around the D-School, and probably way more. And I'm not sure if I forgot. Is there anybody else? And I also welcome some of the students of what is it, Claudio? What kind of?
It is a master program, quality management. The students are actually working in different companies in Sibiu, mostly German companies in Sibiu, like Continental, Marquardt, but not only.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, welcome to all of you, and also to our GDTA members and guests. And I would now hand over to Raluca, and she'll give us an overview. Oh, no, I forgot maybe back to the, it is a little bit hard to read here. Now it's better. Okay, it's my fault here. Yeah, please use the chat during the talk. The whole setting is that we have about a half an hour time for talk, and then another half hour to discuss with our presenter and with also the other representatives from Sibiu. And please, if you want to have a good experience, hide the non-video participants, raise the hand later, or actually we are asking later all of you to switch on your video to have an open session what right now for the talk, I would like to ask you to switch off at least the microphone. The video would be good. And yes, you know how to choose between the speaker view and the gallery view. In the upper right, you have that little button to change. So, but now, Raluca, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Professor Weinberg. It's good to see so many familiar faces. And I would also like to thank my team in the Research and Development Department for being in a full number here today to support me. And that said, while the presentation is loading, I'm also happy to see two of the students from the Global Design Thinking Workshop here, Anke and Ayun. Thank you for joining. You can see I'm a bit nervous because I put a double D in the GDTW. Okay. So what I would like to talk about today is a little bit of the roller coaster of our university, from a lab idea to excellence in research and the D-School. And I would like to start with a positive vibe, with a picture of our administrative building. It's not quite blossoming yet, but hopefully in a couple of weeks we will get there. And we also hope that if not in the summer, in the very near future, you will be able to come and visit it and see it for yourselves. Just a few details about the university in a nutshell. So Lucian Blaga University of Sibiu has 9 faculties. So this is also where the slogan that you see behind me comes from: 1,000 identities, but one university. We have faculties from almost all disciplines, from letters and arts, engineering, agricultural sciences, social sciences, law, economics, and theology. And I think, of course, I shouldn't miss the medicine faculty. We have also 24 research centers. So we like to consider that we thrive to foster our educational activities, but also the research activities in the university. And we have about 50,000 students. But coming back to the university and the connection with HPI, because when people hear D-School and HPI, they think immediately this is the connection. In our case, it was actually not like this from the beginning, because the story started for us in 2018, I think. And as far as I know the story, it started, as you see in the presentation title, from a lab idea. So the former provost of the university was trying to find support to build a new lab in the university. And with the help of the ambassador, the Romanian ambassador in Germany, he got in contact with Mr. Hasso-Plattner, who had some roots, or at least, a connection also through his parents to the Sibiu community. And when he heard about our idea, he wanted to support and give something back to the community. So he actually gave a big donation to the university, not just for a research lab, but to help foster all research activities in the university. And this donation was for 3 years in the sum of 4.2 million euros. And I won't go into all the details about how the donation was divided into several research aspects, but I would like to mention a few of the activities that have been funded so far since the beginning of 2019. So, of course, having the purpose to foster research in the university, we started a program to fund the research centers. And this was actually a competition. So not all 24 research centers were funded. There was a competition to help the ones that are got the most points in this competition. There were also activities to foster student creativity and innovation. So we had, for example, the student innovation contest that you also know, Professor Weinberg, ULBS Smart. Excellence grants for researchers. This is a recent project. Of course, the HPI ULBS Knowledge Transfer Center that Professor Floria is managing. Funding for PhD students. And here I have to say, without this aspect of the donation, I probably wouldn't be here today, because a lot of my knowledge of design thinking has been fostered through funds that I could access, because I'm also a PhD student. And of course, last but not least, the funding for the D-School building. So it wasn't a donation to create a D-School in the university, but it was part of the donation went also to setting up the building. And we call it a D-School building, but actually in 2019, it was first, the concept was just for a ground floor building, and it was mostly supposed to be a maker space, because the maker community in Sibiu was quite impressive. And even last year during the pandemic, this was especially obvious also in the community, but in the university, because the medicine faculty had some very strong points to support the community, and the engineering faculty also developed systems to support the hospitals for the entry point of the hospitals. So it made sense to think about a place where students from all faculties of the university would have a chance to work on their projects or ideas, not necessarily projects related to their courses. And as far as I know, after a speech you gave, Professor Weinberg, around the summer of 2019, the management at that time was impressed with the results of the D-School in Germany. And we were actually talking about this concept in the research and development department. I was at the beginning of my research thesis looking into design thinking. We had a colleague that participated in a design thinking forum in Bucharest in 2018. So when we saw that actually Mr. Hasso-Plattner has a strong connection to design thinking, we were very interested in this concept. And I think your input had a big impact on developing the concept from a ground floor building to a 2-floor building. still keeping the makerspace idea, but developing it to also incorporate a school of design thinking at the first floor. It's quite a small building, but we would like to think that we will bring a lot of projects to it in the future. Then 2020 hit, and I chose this picture for good reason. The construction was over, but for a few short months, the blocks got blocked in 2020, but not for long. And that's because of the great team that we have in the research and development department in the university, and because the new management was willing to take on this challenge of bringing the project forward even through the pandemic. So we somehow managed to bring some color and life to the building. And with all COVID restrictions, we still couldn't find students to take part in filming the short promo video for introducing the building. But we got creative and asked our colleagues from other administrative departments in the university, which were anyway coming to the office, to take part in our experiment. And we were very lucky because the daughter of one of our colleagues was even at that time in the university. So we got her also in the video. So you see a little girl raising her arm, and that was quite fitting for our concept, because we want to point out that design thinking is for everyone. And this goes for all our faculties in the university, but also for students, teachers, and people outside the university. So we got kind of hopeful, and in September 2020, we managed to set up a first design thinking experiment. The D-School wasn't ready at that point, so the furniture wasn't quite there, but we borrowed the space that was already existing in the university, and we adapted it for COVID times. So we had a group of 5 professors from different fields in the university taking part. So we tried to set up the tables to take into consideration social distancing. But we really wanted to do it face-to-face. September was still a bit, the second wave hadn't hit then in Romania. So we really wanted to do it face-to-face to get the feeling of design thinking, the mindset better across to people. And also after one semester of challenging online teaching, this was a consensus for all participants that it was a breath of fresh air to meet each other again. And although 2 days was very, very little time, and actually 8 hours in total for a whole design thinking sprint, we did manage to get one important result from that experiment. And I don't want to take the credit for the result, but for bringing the team together that created the result. So one of our research centers had was playing with the idea of creating an online platform for teachers. which kind of also came up in our design thinking workshop. So we just prototyped how it could look like, and the people from the research center got also to hear the opinion of some colleagues. And after that workshop, the team that participated was also co-opted to actually creating, so doing the coding and IT part behind this new platform that was recently put to use in the university. So it was a platform for online teaching support for the professors in our university, and also a platform where they can share best practices that they've tried in workshops or during their courses. Recently, we also had an experience, a design thinking experience for the management team and also the D-School coach, so myself, for a 3-day program with a consulting firm in Romania, and another experiment with 5 professors in February, but this time virtually. And I can tell you more about it in the Q&A if you are interested in the details. I'll keep my presentation short, and I hope you will ask more questions, so have time for more questions in the end. So I'll go into the future plans and possibilities that we see for now for the D-School. So at the moment, I'm the only employee, except of course for Professor Herciu, who will be managing the D-School, and Professor Terian Dan, who is the director. And it's quite tricky to get new roles in the university, and not because of the university, but this is something that has to do with Romanian laws. So our focus at the moment is on building a team of volunteers that can get involved into some D-School activities, also have the training to get them into the design thinking mindset. And yeah, I will mention something about this also later. Possibly also integrating it into PhD students' activities. So we are open to collaborating with PhD students as well. And we are also curious to see how design thinking might, or if design thinking could play a role in research projects. So we are not quite there yet to give certified trainings for our students. So 1 semester trainings like the D-School in Potsdam, for example. But since the Global Design Thinking Alliance has this 2 aspects of it, so education and research concerning design thinking, we are currently more focused on the research part. And even I would even call it not research yet, but maybe the experimental part. So how does this impact students? Well, our proposal is, and I come back to the volunteer team now, you have the chance to create and design your own role. So yes, you can get involved in some volunteering activities, but I really see this as an awesome opportunity to test if UX or design thinking is something for you. You can experiment with that. Get involved in the summer school that we will be organizing in July this year. And why not even try some training experiments? So moderating, co-facilitating some workshops. This is actually a safe place to try a new method and mindset. and also a creative and fun method. And if you are a working student struggling with a challenge at your job, we encourage you to bring it with you to the D-School. Maybe prototype and test the solution you're thinking of, or find a solution together with an interdisciplinary team, again, in a safe place. So without the fear that, I don't know, your experimental idea could stop the production. You know, test it out first. And just a sneak peek on how the first floor space looks like. It's not exactly the design thinking line, although that was our inspiration, but we adapted it according to local conditions. And I can also tell you some more about that if you are interested. But this is, for the moment, all from my side. I'm really curious to hear your questions. And if there are people here from other D-schools that have been through this and can share some best practices, we are open to hear your ideas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raluca. Thank you very much for your impressive presentation about your achievements through the past years, and also running through the pandemic in an active way, and not just giving up, but doing something which even with physical presence. I'm really impressed what you're doing, and I like the setting. I didn't see pictures of the upper floor yet, so it's great to see that. And I would like to invite now all of you. You were giving us. You see, I put my time timer in the back here, which helps us to stay in the hour. And I would now like to all of you to switch on your video if you like, and to start asking questions. I don't see a question here in the chat yet, but feel free to ask Raluca and the team around her, with your questions. So please. And I'm seeing good old friends and GDTA members. And is there any question so far from your side, or remarks, recommendations?
Hello, Luca. Hi,
Sebastian. Yeah.
Yes. I just wondered, you told about the online teaching tool to support online teaching. So can you talk about how you developed it and how it looks like?
Thank you for the question, Sebastian. So I was part of the project team, but not the development team. I know that one professor from our science faculty that teaches informatics, and the professor from the engineering faculty did the coding behind the platform. And there were, of course, some use cases that we tested. So the teachers had the vision of creating some options for uploading video tutorials. So maybe it's very difficult to get all the teachers together at the same time, at the same place for online training, for example. But if you provide the opportunity for each professor to go on this platform and look at a video tutorial, he can pause it if he only has 10 minutes today and come back to it the next day. So that was the main benefit that the research center saw in this idea. And this research center is also part of our teacher training department in the university. So they already had some experience with providing trainings in the university, and this is how the idea developed. And of course, from there on, we said during the design thinking workshop, it would be also useful to see some best practices. So not just tutorials with ways of teaching, but also hearing from other colleagues that have tried something and tried it and it was successful, then we should hear about it. But I can give you a lot of details of how it was developed. So these were the steps, roughly.
Nevertheless, very impressive to develop that on your own.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. There is a question from Lucky from India. He is asking, you were talking about all the good things that came your way, but what are the challenges that you faced in getting the D-School up and running, non-COVID in brackets? Welcome, Lucky. Good to see you again.
Well, I would have to say the good things that came our way are actually a big have a lot to do with the team. The team of the current management and also the former management. So to be honest, my personal fear was that with the change, people might not want to go on with this concept. And it was awesome to see that I got so much support from my current team leader, Professor Hercu. But part of the challenge was that we had in our previous team, we had this way of thinking that you shouldn't talk about something until it's finished. So because the building was in concept mode, nobody in the university knew about what it's going to be. We said we don't want to announce we're building a D-School if we don't get the approval for it. Then when it was finished, we didn't know about the restrictions with Romanian law, because I mentioned we wanted we got inspired by the design thinking line. And when trying to order the tables, the special tables that HPI developed together with System 180, we found out that even though we could find a Romanian supplier for that, which doesn't exist at the moment, he would still have to do some special steps to get into this Romanian platform. If you're not in that platform, you cannot purchase things from suppliers. So it was a big deal. And when we saw it finished, people thought it's just another space that the university built. So being in the court, in the parking lot of the engineering faculty, a lot of people assumed it's something for the engineering faculty. And this is why it was so important in our promo. And if you search for it on YouTube, ULBS D-School, you will see the two snapshots I got with the small girl. That's why we loved it so much, that we could convey this idea that design thinking is for everyone. It's not just for some faculties or I don't know, young people or professors or people in the private sector. So those were our first challenges, I would say.
Interesting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There is another question, Kerstin Schulz. You wanna ask in person? You're asking for the source of energy and Zuversicht.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Raluca, I'm so much impressed by you. How you act, how you are. Wow. Very much very impressive. So basically my question is, what is your source of energy and Zuversicht? And sorry for the German word, I don't know the right term in English, and maybe there is none in English. It's so obvious, and I really see and feel how much energy and how much Zuversicht you have. So what is your source of that?
It is confidence. It is. I'm just checking here the translation. But confidence is a little bit different, I think.
Confidence is optimismus and so much more. So Zuversicht is, I think, the German term is much better.
Well, I also speak a little bit of German, so I understand what you mean. I'm not sure if you're 100% right, because we were just laughing with my colleagues. Before this session, we did a short test, 10-minute fast forward of the presentation, and I was quite nervous. So they kept telling me, "Why are you so nervous?" And I'm usually not nervous when I present something, but I am quite nervous. Yeah, I don't know the English term for it now. But the source of my energy comes from two things. So one is that I'm kind of also personally involved in this subject, because I mentioned I'm a PhD student and my research is partially on design thinking. And it's a huge help for me that something so valuable is happening in our university. So the first step was to have the support of my PhD advisor, because this is a totally new topic for the engineering field. And that gave me a lot of confidence, that the fact that he trusted that we can do this together. And so that's where the passion for the subject comes from. And the other part is, I think I like this situation where, you know, when we don't have the resources at the moment to get a bigger team, but this means we can go to the volunteers, which this is the idea. If they do it, the people that will do it because they find something interesting in it, and then they will come with this passion. And I think this is a great way to start. So for me, this gives me a lot of confidence that if something will happen, it will happen with people that want to do it. And we have 15,000 students and around 600 or 700 professors. So I don't expect everybody to find it interesting and be on board, but I'm sure there are a lot of people that will like it. And I think this is a great opportunity to bring people together and do awesome things together. Yeah.
Can I ask a second question?
Of course.
What is you talked about basically your source of confidence and the source of energy of volunteers, but what is your inner source of your energy?
I guess it has something to do with seeing potential and not wanting to let it go to waste. I don't know if I can. So this is partly when I stayed in for my studies in my hometown. Although a lot of my friends went abroad to study or in different cities, I really think that you can also do something in a smaller place or in a place where people don't see so much potential, but I think it's because they don't look close enough. So yeah, it's I think it has something to do with this.
Thanks for sharing very much. Thank you.
Claudio.
Thank you, Uli. If I may go back a little bit to the question from Kerstin, and I'd like to add that Raluca actually likes a lot to do such activity, and maybe from here his passion and his energy. She's working, she's communicating very well with different people, with colleagues, with the team, with the student, especially with the students and the volunteer. She mentioned a lot of activity, and in many of these activity, there were involved volunteer. So I think that the D-School from Lucian Blaga University is on good hand with Raluca, and also with the management, Professor Andrei Terian, and with the team from R&D department. You saw that there were a lot of activity, and not all of them were presented because of the time. And I also want to mention that all these activity were possible with the support from Hasso-Plattner Institute, and especially most of them, especially with the support from Professor Weinberg, he was together with us even from the beginning. He visited us 2 times. He participated not only in D-School activities, but also in international conferences as a keynote speaker. I remember the first visit at Sibiu. There were different presentations. One of them were with the company. We sent an invitation to company, and one company, I will mention Continental, said, okay, how many people we can send for this presentation if there's a limitation. And there were a lot of people from different companies. So Professor Weinberg, thank you for your support. And I also want to say that you have a very, very nice community. You can exchange idea, and from here, of course, to have a future development. Raluca,
thank you very much.
And good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. It's actually a great pleasure and honor to have so many high-level representatives of the university with us here. And it is, I remember actually very well your first visit in Berlin, you know, when the delegation was there to sign the contract with the ambassador, and then the visit at the HPI. And I think your whole framing was around technology, around IT, and you were not, I think the D-School activities were somehow strange. It felt a little bit like out of the world, but pretty soon and pretty fast, actually, you started adapting. And then I had the pleasure to visit, I think it was 3 times, 2 times at Sibiu and once at the conference, the Design Thinking Conference in Bucharest. And so I had 2 very, very exciting days. I can actually, if you go to Romania, visit Sibiu, visit the city. It's a very, very nice historical city. And I found so many German relicts, so even German-speaking, German signs on restaurants, and was great. And I had 2 times very, very good time, actually. So, and then I think and Raluca, you were describing that quite well. So at the beginning, there was no idea about the D-School. It was actually the maker space. And my question to all of you from Sibiu is now, when I was there first time, I had the feeling, okay, I'm entering a very traditional academic, large university, focusing very much on technologies, and so that's the engineering and being very strong in that. the open approach we are appreciating at the D-School, in the design thinking process. How did that affect part of your education system, or is it doing something? Is it kind of changing the way how you're thinking about education, or what is the impact? Even if it's not long of a time, we are at the HPI since 14 years now, and also embedded in a highly technical environment, and we see a little bit of impact, but it might be different at your university. It would be very interesting for those who are interested to share, Michaela or Andre or Adrian or Claudio. Or
maybe if I can just add one
Raluca.
small thing before they answer, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
So I think it's quite early to speak about the influence in the educational system in our university, because we just had so the news of the D-School was just recently made more clear what the concept is, and since we couldn't even have the official opening of the building, I'm not sure if the news is yet out there for all the people. But what I really found interesting in the first experiment that I mentioned in September 2020, that was actually before the D-School was finished, and I kind of started it more as part of my PhD, because I said, okay, COVID or no COVID, I still need my experiments done, and I want my PhD to go forward. So we don't have the D-School finished yet, but I want to do an experiment with the teachers. So when I asked the people around me what they think if I would send out an invitation to all professors in the university, some of them told me it's September, it's the period where everyone is still on vacation. Nobody will come to a PhD students' workshop. And I just wanted 2 groups of 5. So in total, 10 people. 10 people is actually not that much. So if I would have asked some professors from the university where I volunteer as a teacher, they would probably come. But I wanted it to be from interdisciplinary teams, so from all faculties. And just to cut it short, I got 12 people that enlisted, so 2 more than I expected. So I think there is a place for this mindset, and there will be an impact. But and people actually are happy to meet each other from different faculties. But this is something that needs a lot of time, my opinion.
If I may have an intervention, Professor Weinberg.
Yeah, please call me Uli. It's easier.
Okay, Uli, call me Andre. Allow me to be a little bit selfish and to say hello to my colleagues, especially to Mihaela, Adrian, and Claudio. Unfortunately, given the pandemic, we don't have the opportunity to meet and discuss as much as we would like to. Allow me to congratulate Raluca for her wonderful presentation. She made us look a lot smarter than we actually are, and I want to thank her for that. As for your question, it is indeed a very significant one, because unfortunately we didn't have the opportunity to test yet the D-School at its full capacities, given the fact that most of its period of functioning overlapped with the pandemic. We weren't able to use it to its full potentiality, at least to the potential we would like to see in it. We are very excited and enthusiastic about this. We have a lot of brand new ideas, and we can hardly wait to test them all. And we hope to have this opportunity as soon as possible. And we would also, we are open to suggestions and possibilities of cooperation, because we would like to cooperate not only among ourselves, meaning different branches of the university, but we are also eager to cooperate with other institutions, and especially with other branches of design thinking. So this would be mainly my answer, although I'm sure I didn't cover all the aspects. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think that was one of the reasons why we were saying it's probably a good idea to make you part of the Global Design Thinking Alliance as early as possible, even if it's not everything is running right now, but just get you into the network. And is there some more questions? Natalie, I'm happy that you're with us here from Western University in Canada. You were presenting last time. What do you think about about Raluca's achievement or the achievements there?
Yeah, I want to thank you, Raluca, for sharing with us, and was really excited to hear about all of these different interventions and opportunities and experiences that you're creating. I did have a question about your relationship with different community partners. I believe you mentioned that for one of the many things that you've been doing in this pandemic, it did involve a kind of an external community partner to the school, if I heard correctly. And just curious to hear a little bit more about that. How did you, become connected with them? And was the design thinking work that you were doing related to a particular challenge that they had? Or can you tell us just a little bit more?
So for the moment, for the design thinking activities, we didn't have an external partner yet. Our university has a strong relationship to the private sector and not only the companies, but also the institutions in the community. And I might even say Romania, because we have a strong research partnership with other institutions in Romania as well. But last year we did have a short meetup. I don't know if you know the platform, with a few people. Actually, the meetup was organized by a community of IT people in Sibiu, and they invited me to give just a very short input about design thinking, and we didn't even call it design thinking then, because the format was so short. It wouldn't have made sense. But we exchanged some ideas then, and one of them works for the second unicorn in Romania. It's just recent. It's a startup that recently got this title of a unicorn, and they actually agreed, because they understood what the concept is about. They agreed to be a partner in the Global Design Thinking workshop that HPI is organizing this month. Just a partner to test the student team's solutions. So, and this was kind of possible because they were a bit familiar with the concept, and although there's no benefit in it for them, they were or not such an obvious benefit, they were willing to take part in this experience.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Uli, there is an interesting question on the chat, and I
was just asking, wanting to ask you. With Vlad is asking that question. Will design
I would like to take it. So
great.
Of course, from a strictly administrative point of view, the D-School will remain a separate entity because it is written in its constitution. But from curricular point of view, this would be ideal. We would very much like to offer design thinking classes in our study programs, and I'm thinking that they would fit perfectly in faculties like engineering or economic sciences, but to other faculties as well. But one thing, one step at a time, because for the first step would be to, as already mentioned, to test the possibilities of design thinking, to persuade both our teachers and students that design thinking is not only a necessity, but also an answer to some of our current issues, and to persuade them about its opportunity. Then in the second step, I think we can discuss about proper class as a proper discipline inserted in various curricula of our university. So this would be a beautiful goal to achieve.
Yeah,
for us.
That is actually, if you look at the D-School setting at Stanford, which was our our blueprint to work on, and also if you look at the D-School in Potsdam, it is all still separate entities, and I think it's probably not. It would not be our goal in Potsdam to become a real part of the academic system. I think it's really helpful to have the D-Schools outside of the traditional academic system and not being a real part, but actually as an offer to all different disciplines, to join forces with the medical students and the technology IT students and bring them together in a new place. And so I would recommend to keep it as a separate entity as long as possible. But I'm open to other recommendations. So is there other questions so far, Claudio? Claudio from your side.
Thank you, Uli. If I can go further with what Professor Terian said, I perfectly agree with him. And I'd like to mention also that, yes, as Uli said, design thinking was something almost completely new for us. But also I want to mention that in the past, there were some projects on implementing PBL practices, project-based learning practices in our education. We trained a trainee with a professor. We select some professors, so we presented some tools, and they implemented, of course, in some educational activity. So this can go further also with design thinking tools, but of course the idea is to have such a program sometime, such a program as you have at Hasse-Plattner, a specific program where to involve students from different parts of the country or different part of the world, working on design thinking project for a specific period of time. I don't know, half year or 1 year. It's a challenge.
Yeah, that is actually a challenge. I just heard my church bells ringing here around the corner, which indicates that is 5 o'clock our time here in Germany, and our nice hour is over. And I would like to officially end now also our video and say goodbye to our video participants on YouTube, and would like to thank especially our guest speaker today, Raluca, for her brilliant talk and being with us here and sharing about her latest experiences. And also thanks to all the other participants from Sibiu, from Lucian Blaga University. Thank you very much for joining. This is the official end, but I think Steffi has some slide to show before we really stop the YouTube live stream. But as usual, for those of you who want to still have a kind of fireside chat meeting atmosphere, we can stay in the chat here. So the next GDTA PowWow, the number 9, is planned on April 30th. And we have our new friends also from Politecnico di Milano talking about their research activities at the Design Thinking Observatory. And I'm looking forward to that as well. And we started on Clubhouse, the happy hour for global design thinkers. We started a Clubhouse club, which is called the Global Design Thinkers Club. Please join it, and then you get invited if you are part of the Clubhouse community. And it's every Friday at 5 o'clock CET, 5 p.m. We have 1 hour, a happy hour meeting with people from all over the world. It's a quite nice talk around about the week, about the experiences of the past week. So I officially end now here our 8th GDTA PowWow session. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Maybe tomorrow on Clubhouse or next time in